Welcome to today's live stream behind the scenes of high ticket sales on Substack. All right, let's talk about this because I think that there is a much bigger shift happening online right now than most people realize. And honestly, one of the reasons I've been talking so much about Substack lately is because I think it's revealing something important about where business and thought leadership are headed next. So let me say this first. I don't have a massive audience on Substack. I think that's important because I'm not coming on here as someone with hundreds of thousands of subscribers teaching you how to go viral or any of that stuff. I have a relatively small audience, but over the last 8.5 weeks, I've made 5 high ticket sales and they are connected to the ecosystem that I'm building here. And what's most interesting to me isn't even the sales themselves, it's why they happened. Because I think a lot of people are still looking at Substack as if it's a newsletter platform or another social media platform where you have to post all the time and keep up. But what I'm seeing is something very different. I think it's becoming a platform for thought leadership, for relationship building, for community, and for trust. And Lord knows we could use some trust online, couldn't we? Honestly, I think many experienced entrepreneurs who are doing good work in the world, they're changing lives, they have so much value to bring out. I think they've been craving this for a long time because a lot of people are feeling exhausted by social media right now. It's noisy, it's fragmented, it's low level, it's fast, it moves super fast and then it disappears almost immediately. And there's this constant pressure to perform, to post more, to say it faster, to hook people quick. Get your hook out fast or they're going to keep scrolling, to create controversy, be polarizing, take a stand for something that, might piss a few people off. Like, really? I don't want to polarize people. I do have an opinion. I'm not afraid to share it. But come on, we're compressing our entire body of work into 7-second reels. And for people whose work is deep, nuanced, thoughtful, transformational, that environment it just starts to feel really disconnected from how they actually work. It's like we're numbing ourselves down. And I'm hearing this from experienced entrepreneurs. I have been in business 22 years. I have seen Facebook come. I have seen Instagram. I've seen them all get their start, grow, and then change over time. And here's what I'm hearing from experienced entrepreneurs. My work is kind of hard to explain quickly, or I just don't even know what to post anymore. It's hard to chunk things down. Or like I feel like my message is just flat. And I'm tired. So many people are tired of constantly feeding the algorithm. And then there's a change in the algorithm. And then we have to feed it differently. Hi, Kristen. Good to see you here. Debbie, hey. You just turned on your Substack notifications. Awesome. I'm so glad it pinged you. We're all figuring this out together. Um, but, honestly, I don't think it's about the message that people are sharing. I think the problem is the container. Some work just needs more room, especially deep work, meaningful work. Some ideas need more space in order to deepen. And some businesses need more relationships to build. We're not selling toothpaste. You don't have to have a deep relationship to make a decision about that. But some sales require more trust. And that's part of the reason why I'm so interested in Substack. When I first got here just 8 weeks ago, I think 8.5, somewhere around that, it kind of reminded me of Facebook, right? Around maybe 2008 to 2012, when people were actually connecting and helping each other and having real conversations, and you saw the updates from the people that you followed. You didn't have to pay for that, or your stuff wasn't being pushed out to test. other people's interests, which is what's happening now, the energy felt, you know, connecting back then. And when I came here, the energy felt different immediately. People were reading longer form ideas. People were commenting with like respect. And there's thoughtful posts. People are having conversations in the comments. Even if they disagree, the way they were addressing each other, this is what I noticed immediately. Have you guys noticed this? Let me know. Talk to me in the comments. Um, people were having respectful conversations, listening to podcasts, attending live streams like this, and following the people that they who shared their perspective or that they wanted to learn more about their perspective. It just felt so refreshing to me. I remember thinking like, "Oh my gosh, this feels human again." And that's what really caught my attention. I didn't really plan to go all in on Substack. I just came over to see what it was about. I thought it was going to be just like where you write. That's just was my impression. But then the next thing I noticed right away is how powerful this platform really is and how you can create your entire ecosystem here. It's actually a media platform, not a social media platform only. The notes are somewhat social. It's a media platform where your body of work can live. And one of the biggest problems I see online right now is this disconnected marketing that's happening. Are you guys seeing that? Just like, okay, I got to get a post out, random posts like, okay, I got to get my offer. Let me test this offer. Let's see how people respond. Or, just so many. It's like spaghetti and things aren't really connected. And when nothing is connected, the trust doesn't deepen. Instead, it's like, see how many leads you can get. If you can close 1%, that's going to be this much money, then get more ads and get more leads. And it's like, yeah, but what about the people? What about the relationships? Business is built on relationship. And so people might want to see your content, but they couldn't really enter your world because it's gone. And they don't know they might remember you, but they don't know how to find your profile. Like that's what happened with social media. So they couldn't really enter your world. And what's really becoming interesting to me about Substack is that it allows your body of work to live together all in one place. Your articles, your podcasts, your live streams, your notes, your paid content, your front end offers for people, then your community, right? And the conversations we're having, it's all connected. I also love how the way to grow is through collaboration. We're looking at whose audiences could I serve and who can serve my audience, and we're working together. It just feels so good. And that changes the relationships that are built here completely because high ticket sales, which is what we're talking about, right, are rarely created from one post. High ticket sales come from accumulated trust. When someone reads your ideas for a few weeks and they start listening to your podcast, maybe while they're driving or at the gym, then they come to a live stream and they start understanding how you think and they begin seeing themselves inside your perspective. And then maybe they join a low ticket paid subscription. And then they eventually or quickly, in my case, inquire about working with you more deeply. And that's a very different customer journey than trying to convince strangers to buy something from a piece of social media content. And honestly, I think it's one of the biggest mistakes people are making right now online. They're optimizing for visibility because we've been told we have to. In fact, we've experienced that we have to because if we don't, our posts aren't shown. But that's all happening instead of relationship building. I would take 1,000 people with a meaningful relationship over 10,000 leads any day, every day. So on social media, we're asking questions like, how do I get more views? What's the latest algorithm changes? How do I go viral? You know what? I had a reel go viral. I didn't get any sales from it. But I got some followers and it boosted my ego, right? Like, those aren't the questions that we need to be asking in business. So I think the questions to ask are, how do I build deeper trust? Deeper trust with the right people, because those are very different business models. And what I'm personally much more interested in right now is building ecosystems instead of chasing attention. And that's a huge shift. It's a huge shift. And I think it matters more now, especially in the age of AI, because AI can generate content now. It can generate the captions, the emails, the frameworks. I heard that 40% of content on Meta is AI generated and or is bots, not even like somebody's generating it. Yes, I use AI, but I mean bots that are just cranking it out. It can generate frameworks. It can generate pretty decent strategy, but what it can't generate is lived experience. It can't generate connection. It can't generate an ongoing perspective. Have you ever worked with AI and you're working on something and then it just totally takes a left turn and it's like, wait, go back and read what I just told you 3 posts again. Oh, sorry. Right. Like, it can't generate your discernment. It can't generate the depth that comes from actually living through things, the experience that you accumulate over time through building things, through leading things, through failing, through succeeding, through evolving. And I think a lot of experienced entrepreneurs are actually becoming more valuable right now than ever before because of that. Not less valuable, more valuable. Because we're moving into a world flooded with information and starving for wisdom. And I think people are craving thoughtful leadership once again. Not loud leadership, not more performative leadership, thoughtful leadership. Leadership that feels grounded, leadership that feels human, leadership that feels earned. Like, you actually lead people through something that you've done, not something that you popped into AI and it told you what that might be like. Leadership that feels earned. And that's one of the things I've noticed on Substack is that people are willing to spend more time with ideas there. And that matters because trust requires time. It doesn't have to be a long time. It just requires people to experience you. And that's one of the reasons that I'm a huge proponent of your publication being a magazine. Most people are missing this. This is the reason that I have the sales that I have, because when people come to my publication, I'll screen share in just a minute and show it to you so you guys can see what you think about my opinion. But when people come to your publication, if it looks organized and I can get a feel visually and I can read, I can listen because there's podcasts, right? There's different ways of consuming the information you've put there about who you are, your body of work, then trust happens quickly. It requires time, but it requires depth and it requires relationship. Right? Like, that's just true. It's true that trust is so important, whether you're in a community, whether you're in a relationship, and also for sales. And one of the reasons that I've generated high ticket sales from a relatively small audience is because they aren't just seeing me once. I'm not fleeting past them. They're moving through an ecosystem. They're reading, they're listening, they're watching, they're replying, they're observing, they're understanding who I am and what I do. And over time, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time, if you follow the content flow I teach, which is to do a podcast, a live stream, an article, and a paid training each week, it can happen really quickly. Somebody can go through One woman went through just 1 week of that and was like, "How do I work with you? I wanna work with you. Tell me what you've got." And we hopped on a call, and she bought a high-ticket private coaching package. She met me on Substack, right? So that's the experience that people are craving and that people are paying for. So, looking at this ecosystem, if you think of it as an ecosystem and the magazine is sort of like your storefront, you have this boutique high-end storefront. I always think of my business and my client's business because I teach people how to curate communities rather than, moving tons of leads through some sort of funnel. But if you look at that, the people are seeing you in the way they want to learn from you. And that's what helps them feel connected to the work that you're doing. And that's what creates high ticket sales. It's not hype. It's not pressure. I don't have an appointment setter like digging out through leads to get somebody on the phone and shame them into buying from me. I know I sound a little negative, but I've watched what happened to the coaching industry. I became a coach in 2004. I've seen the whole game play out. And so I do have some opinions, but it's not from hype or pressure. It's not from complicated funnels. It's from trust. It's old school business. It's never going to change. I mean, yeah, things are going to flood in and, new things will come and go, but at the end of the day, business is built on relationship and relationships require trust. One of the biggest mindset shifts that I have had recently is I'm not really building content anymore. I'm building a body of work. Every piece contributes to the body, and that's very different. When you're building content, you're constantly thinking like, what should I post today? Oh, what's viral? Let me go see what the IG trends are and, remix the hottest thing today and try to fit my belief system, my trainings, my work into what's trending. Which, by the way, how many sales have I made from doing that? None, right? I might have a reel go viral, but they just moved to the next one that was remixed with the same song or whatever, right? Like what am I doing? That's the mindset shift. And so I started asking, and I encourage you to ask rather than what should I post today? Um, what conversation am I leading? What conversation is important for me to lead? Right now, the conversation that's important for me to lead is for thought leaders, transformational leaders, change makers, catalysts to come build their body of work and be seen and become known and be paid for the great work they do because Lord knows people need it. Right? So, but what conversation are you leading? What conversation do you want to lead? What do you want to be known for? Think about that. What ideas are developing for you over time? This is something I can't not talk about, right? So, what is that for you? What kind of community are you building around your work? These are the questions I'm asking myself. What kind of a community am I building? I put a lot of time and thought into my paid subscriptions. What kind of communities do I want? I want people to come in who want to build communities, who want to help people have better lives. And I want to teach them the things that I've learned throughout my entire life. I've always been an entrepreneur. I know how to sell. I know how to grow communities. I know that stuff. And that's what I want to teach. That's what I'm passionate about, but just to the people who are going to do good with it. And when you start asking those kind of questions, it changes the way you think. So I'm curious. And if you want to share, please drop it in. What conversations are you passionate about leading? What conversations do you want to create that will bring in your community? Um, and so one of the practical ways that I'm doing this right now is through weekly content flow. I mentioned it before, but I'm going to repeat it because I want you to really get this. This is what works so well for me. Each week I choose one core idea. This week, my core idea, because people are asking me, is how is it possible to monetize Substack? From that level, people are just saying, I don't even know if it's possible, to how are you generating high ticket sales so quickly on Substack? Right? I think I had like, I don't know, 80 subscribers, maybe less when I started getting my first high ticket sales. It's not about the numbers, right? So I pick one core idea, and then from that core idea, I create a podcast. And because I like speaking more than writing, I like writing, but I also I can pick up a microphone and talk. And so I'll start there. I can create one podcast, and then from that podcast, I can do a live stream and deepen the topic, right? A little bit more. And then I can take the podcast and the live stream, I can look at the transcripts and I can turn it into an article. It doesn't take a lot of time. Not if you trust who you are and what you have to say, and you're not trying to make it fit into some box that you've been taught it has to fit into in order to be successful. What if you just share your conversation, turn that into an article, and then every week I have a paid training in my paid membership. I have a training, right? So people can learn about it for free in 3 different ways: live stream, podcast, article. And if they want to get into the depth of it with the templates or whatever, the workbooks I make, all of that inside my curated community of buyers, that's my paid membership. It's $79 for an entire year. And you're getting trainings on community growth, right? So I do the deeper training, and instead of constantly trying to reinvent content, I'm just deepening one conversation throughout the week. So all my content becomes that. And I do post on other platforms, but the posts that I'm making there are saying, hey, this week I'm teaching on this topic. Do you want to join me? And then I bring people over to Substack, right? So the conversation is the same no matter what platform I'm on. I'm doing stories and still doing some reels on Instagram because I have audiences there, communities that I've curated, and I don't want to just drop everyone. What I want to do is bring people to a place where they can experience more deeply the work that I do and benefit from it, whether they buy from me or not. The buyers will come, but I want to help people really understand this. And this has made content creation feel so much more cohesive for me, sustainable. I can do it. I don't have to put a lot of time into it because it's me being who I am and sharing the wisdom that I've gained. And what's powerful is people can consume as much of it as they want. That's the thing about the publication. Publication is so important because it organizes your content. Some people want to read, some people want audio, some people want interaction and chatting, like in the live streams or in the live trainings, which I host on Zoom. People come in and they can have their question answered. Everybody learns in the way that works best for them, right? Some people want deep dives. They want to sit down and just binge watch. But everything is hosted in my publication. Everything leads back to the same ecosystem. And that's what I think most people, or many people, I don't know the numbers, are missing. The goal isn't just to get on here and write and hope for visibility. The goal is to build a connected environment where trust can deepen naturally over time, and to do that in collaboration with other people, to restack people's notes or articles with your own opinion. And that then brings you in front of their audience and them in front of your audience. There's enough for all of us here. And I think this next era online is going to belong to people who know how to build ecosystems around their ideas and who are collaborative, not just audiences, but communities. That's different. An audience watches you, a community grows with you. And I think many experienced entrepreneurs already have everything they need to build that, but they're feeling frustrated. They have wisdom, they have experience. Oh my gosh, the stories that I hear from my clients, the insights that they have gleaned, the transformations they've created in their own life and for the lives of their clients, the perspectives they have as a result of that, it's invaluable. And what I'm noticing is a lot of them are missing a simple structure that really allows their work to breathe and connect with people over time. That's another reason I'm so excited about Substack. Not because I think it's perfect, not because I think it's like, the end all be all. Platforms always change, but hear this. The way Substack makes money is they get 10% of your paid subscriptions. So given that, what do you think they're motivated to do? What is this platform motivated to do? If it is paid by your prescriptions, your subscriptions selling, they're motivated to find the right people for you. They're doing the work for you. And that really supports depth. It supports the people who are on here who are thought leaders. When you share your opinion, Substack is watching and it's putting you out in front of other, like if you'll see, like when you watch something, like say you're watching this live stream now, when it's over, it'll show you other people who have a similar perspective or some sort of, opinion or body of work that might be a good fit for you. It's really supporting those relationships. And I think, all of that is becoming more valuable. Even though the experience on social media has felt like it's becoming less valuable, it doesn't mean we don't want it. So when people ask me why I've been talking about it so much lately, right? That's really the answer. It's because I'm interested in finding a place where thought leaders can build meaningful businesses in this next era online. And I think we are still very early in that shift. If you are here now, you are going to benefit tremendously from being an early adopter, from seeing the opportunity, from taking your business, into this platform. Okay, I've been telling you all the things that I believe. I want to share my publication because I think this is so important for you. So let me just pull that up and screen share. Here we go. It's a little bit slow because I'm live, but it's coming right along. Okay. Oh, it's going to probably be a little bit weird when I first show you because I'm live. So whenever you're live, the live stream there, that was part of the weirdness. Because when you go live, the live stream sits at the top of your publication. So it might look a little funky, but I'm going to share. I think it's this screen. Yeah. Oh, wait, is it this one? It's this one. Here we go. Okay. All right. So this is my publication. Many people just have their profile as their publication. Now, as you can see, like I said, here's the live stream, just at the top. But if I wasn't live, this is what it would look like with the nav bar up here, right? Because you can choose what you want on your nav bar. And then this would be the top. Now, when someone comes here, you can organize this. So what I did is I want my paid members to know where their content is. Because if you don't do this, it's just in the feed and you can't really tell what's paid and what's not. So this is all tag driven. I teach this in my Substack setup group coaching. And so I put my paid curated community of buyers membership content at the very top. Okay. So that's right there. And then I've got some resources so people can come over, they can get a feel for who I am. And then I've got my pillars. I have 4 pillars. And I talk about what they are. Take a stand is one of my pillars. My tagline in my business for, I think, like 20 years, maybe 18 years, has been be real, take a stand, change lives. And that's what I teach. I teach people how to be like, understand who they are and the value they have, connect it to who they want to serve. So I just made those my pillars. Take a stand is all about visibility, speaking, building community, the things that I'm talking about here. And then be real is about what are your values? What is your value? What identity are you living? What is the experience you have that you can share? And then change lives is all about your offers, your revenue, your sales. And then I have a 4th one, which I haven't added anything to yet. And I need to, because I was just in Italy and that would be a great thing to add here. But it's live well, because what I help people do is create a business that serves their life, not a life that serves their business. So we talk about lifestyle, environmental design, energy, all of that stuff. So someone can come to my publication, which I like to call a magazine, and very quickly see what I'm about and either say yes, or say no, or say, I want to know more. Let me see. Where did I go? Here I am. Okay, hold on. Oh, I guess that just got really small. There we go. Um, and that's how people started reaching out. I send a message every time somebody subscribes to my publication. I DM them personally and say, welcome. I can't wait to get to know you. I go check out what they're doing. I might follow them or subscribe if it's something I'm interested in. I just start the conversation. And so all of these people who are coming in, those are all opportunities to build relationship, right? And from those conversations, we just start talking and people buy. It's really not that difficult or not that, complicated. It's just you being who you are and sharing your expertise. So that's what I have for you today. If you want to come to my training on Friday, behind the scenes of high ticket sales on Substack. We're going to go even deeper into it. And you can just upgrade and join the curated community of buyers. 1 month is $48. A whole year is $79. I'm going to keep it at that price for a while, but I'm really, adding a ton of content there. I don't know what I'll do on the pricing. I just want to reach a lot of people. So if you are interested, I'll drop the link below. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I see the live chat, but I don't see, I see a couple things. Yeah. So I don't see any questions. So with that, I'm going to wrap up and I'll see you next time. If you want to get in this Friday and set up your publication and, learn more about the content flow that's bringing people in, just jump in and I'll see you then. All right. And as always, remember, be real, take a stand, and change lives. Bye for now.